guess I'm first. Okay. Gave a demo a few weeks ago of some of the initial work on dbt Semantic layer support, and here I am with a bit of an update. All of this is still behind a feature flag, as you'll remember from my first demo. And in that first demo, I showed off basic dimension importing. So an example of that is like I've defined this dimension in my semantic model. So it's called sign up date, and that gets imported here into Omni as sign up date, and it has the SQL. So what has been added since then are, first of all, more interesting expressions can now be parsed and imported. The parsing is needed to determine like what type this column is primarily, but also to convert it to a like an internal representation. So that is working. We got that SQL in this dimension here. And then as well, measures are supported. So I've got all of these different measures here. Maybe I'll hop over to this orders example so it's not so overwhelming. This total sales measure is getting imported here, copying over description and converting it to a sum aggregate type, stuff like that. So that's measures. There's also foreign key support through this concept of an entity, as well as primary key support. I don't have a good example to show primary key support, but it does work. And foreign key support works as well. So this order to user foreign key stuff gets imported. All of these things get commented so you can tell where they came from. So this relationship is defined in the orders semantic model. It gives you the file name, which you could use to go find it in the dbt IDE. And then I think that's everything that's in prod now behind the feature flag. And then what is in progress is metric support. So you kind of combine all of the semantic model definitions that you have into your final metrics, and metrics are where you can add filters and do some interesting things. So that's in progress. I have this metric here that the filters don't work yet. That's what I'm working on now. But it references a measure that I define elsewhere, and that is here. So got this large order, and it's got some SQL. There's this feature called fill with nulls, where you can define how you want to convert nulls. So that's converted to a coalesce when we detect that. So this is in progress. Simple metrics will be coming soon, and there's then 2 other metric types that will be supported and 3 that won't be because we just don't have an equivalent. But yeah, that's where things stand.
Buck, are you going to create a new topic for every metric, or what's kind of like, how does that matching go?
We haven't talked about doing topics at all. Right now, what it's doing is measures are converted to a simple aggregate type measure in Omni. Metrics are converted to a metric type measure in Omni. So they both get converted to
Okay.
measures.
Sorry, I thought I saw you pull up a topic. Okay, got it. How are you actually testing the dbt semantic layer? Like, are you running open source metric flow, or how are you interacting with it and determining?
Right now it's largely just going through the docs, and there's a little bit of dbt core will do a little bit of validation to make sure that like your metrics are referencing and dimensions that exist. I think things like that. But it's not much. For the most part, I'm trying to make the code as fail safe as possible. So it will try things that even dbt I don't think actually supports in order to try to import it. And then if not, it will just silently move on. And we're talking about building out a warning system so you can see why things didn't import, so that it's not just like hidden in the back end.
Cool.
Out of curiosity, I don't know if you can hear me, but out of curiosity, are there any like metric types that you're expecting us to not be able to support? Like I know they have conversion metrics and a few other things. Like I assume, are you planning to potentially support some of these things down the road, or are we saying like some of these we're just not going to touch?
Yeah, I think some of them we're just not going to be able to touch because we just don't have an equivalent unless we were to build an equivalent in Omni. And so
Is the
for the
key there
time,
just window functions that we don't support? Is
I
that
think that's the key,
the
the
diff?
key
Yeah,
one.
okay.
Jack
Yeah,
could speak a little bit better to
We
that.
should just build those, by the way.
Yeah.
like conversion metrics, like you basically, yeah, it's like your window function. You create like a date spine, and you're doing like a join on time joins, but they just do it all at once natively via like their own power.
Got it.
Yeah, so at least for the foreseeable future, the three that we're going to support are what they call simple metrics. And actually, I can't even remember the other two anyway.
Derived and ratio. Sorry.
There you go.
Here. Definitely we'll take a look at the conversion and cumulative, but there's some twists for how we handle things today and what's the kind of comparatives there.
Do we have any insight on how branching will work? So if you want to test a change in your dbt semantic layer and then like bring it through the content validator kind of stuff?
It'll all work the same as the existing branching workflow stuff works. So if you make a branch in your Git repo and you're making changes to your, your semantic model and metric definitions in that branch, we'll pull them, update the matching will still work. That like we'll see that you are referencing a model that is a different table name in development, so it'll still all be like segmented, so it'll work the same as everything else does today.
Awesome. Thanks, Bucks. Huge ahead of Coalesce next week. So appreciate that.
Yeah, cool.
Actually, wait, one lingering question. Do we have a place that we can demo that then?
Jack and I are going to figure that one out.
Working
Okay,
on
cool.
it right now. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
And by Jack and I mean Jack.
Just wait until I show up with bugs, Chris.